Thank you all for always following and supporting the channel. In your opinion, who would win in Mangog versus Superman when the rage of billions of souls confronts the Man of Steel? Mangog is a terrifying entity born from the crystallized hatred of billions of beings who were once annihilated by King Odin. He is not merely a simple conqueror, but the living embodiment of collective vengeance, carrying power far beyond the warriors of Asgard. Mangog once overwhelmed Thor, enduring devastating lightning strikes without the slightest sign of faltering. His physical strength reaches a level where he can lift colossal structures, break through divine defenses, and survive attacks on a cosmic scale. Superman, birth name Kal-El, comes from the destroyed planet Krypton. Under the yellow sun of Earth, he possesses extraordinary power, super strength great enough to move planets, speed beyond light, heat vision, freezing breath, and near instantaneous healing. Not only physically powerful, Superman also represents unwavering will and compassion. Superman is a symbol of hope, strength, that exists to protect, not to destroy. Before we go deeper into the analysis, please press the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. Mangog is not just an ordinary enemy. He is solidified fury, the scream of despair from a billion lives erased from the universe. This entity was born from the hatred of an entire race once destroyed by Odin. No one remembers what crime they committed. It may have been a brutal invasion aimed at Asgard. It may have been only a minor mistake before the throne of the All-Father. The truth has faded into oblivion, leaving only resentment crystallized into the monstrous form named Mangog. Sealed deep beneath the ground of Asgard, he slumbered in darkness until he was freed by Ulik, the reckless rock giant. From the moment the chains were shattered, war erupted again. Mangog repeatedly challenged the gods, turning Asgard into a battlefield shaken by primordial rage. His physical strength is nearly absolute. Swords shatter, hammers break, even divine power becomes fragile before each punch of the embodiment of hatred. However, Mangog's weakness lies within his very source of existence. He survives on psychic energy such as fear, hatred, and even the fanaticism of sentient beings. When that emotional source is manipulated or severed, Mangog weakens. He once allied with a corrupted duplicate of Thanos with the ambition to erase the universe. But that ambition collided with a wall of thunder named Thor. The final confrontation was not only a clash of muscle, but a collision between ancient hatred and divine power. When Thor inherited the Odin force and mastered the mystical runes of Earth, the balance shifted instantly. Before a burst of light like a sunrise tearing open the sky of Asgard, Mangog roared one last time, the sound echoing like the cry of an entire dead civilization. Mangog grows stronger, not only from physical might, but from the hatred that sustains him. The more he confronts enemies filled with resentment, the more his power expands like a fire fed with oil. At one point, he disguised himself as Odin, unleashing destructive energy that brought down 3 Asgardian warriors, their lives reduced to ashes before ancient fury. More terrifying is that each defeat does not weaken Mangog, but transforms him into a more savage version of himself. He strikes with horrifying speed, to the extent that his punch can drill through space, open a direct path to Asgard, and lift the eternal flame from its sacred pedestal. Lava shoots from his hands like meteors tearing across the sky. Even the divine goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Gnasher, famed for speed beyond the limits of light, cannot easily escape his reflexes. Mangog even countered a strike from War Thor's Mjolnir and leaped across asteroids to traverse the universe before personally collapsing the Bifrost Bridge. His endurance surpasses imagination. The Asgardian army with its cosmic cannon was still swept away. A violent explosion like a volcanic eruption only forced him back slightly. Thor's storm of thunder could not bring him down, and even an anti-life attack powerful enough to crush mountain ranges could not make him submit. When Mangog advances, the ground trembles as if afraid of its own shadow. The sky of Asgard, once radiant with glory, becomes covered in smoke and fire. Each of his footsteps resounds like a funeral bell, reminding the gods that hatred, if nurtured for millennia, will not remain merely an emotion, but will become a great deluge capable of sweeping away even the realm of the gods. Mangog is hauntingly described as invincible. That title is not an exaggeration. He once endured a direct strike from the Sun Shredder of the Rigelian race, a weapon described as capable of tearing apart the core of a star, and still stood firm like a stone statue without a single crack. A coordinated assault from the Avengers or an enhanced full uni beam from Iron Man only caused space itself to tremble, while Mangog remained virtually unmoved. Mangog overwhelms his opponents with both brute strength and mystical power. The Thing was subdued through sheer physical force. Loki was defeated and sealed in amber like a display piece. Even Kartag, a warrior whose power rivaled Thor, could not withstand that fury. Mangog's body is far more durable than the standard of an Asgardian god. He endures immense pressure, extreme temperatures, falls from unimaginable heights, and energy explosions powerful enough to level battlefields. Mangog manipulates mystical energy on a massive scale, controls matter at the molecular level, and fires shockwaves from his hands like supernova cannons. On one occasion, he even swallowed a lightning bolt from Volstagg and returned it with far greater destructive force. Mangog is not merely a pure engine of destruction, but also a terrifying master of magic. He manipulates matter with such flexibility that he can alter his appearance and deceive even seasoned gods. There was a time when he allied with the sorcerer Egron, borrowing Odin's form to sit upon the throne of Asgard. The source of Mangog's power is the ocean of hatred from countless beings who were erased from existence. He absorbs and converts that emotional energy into raw power. Whenever a god acts selfishly or abuses authority for trivial purposes, his power rises like a storm-driven tide. It is a bitter paradox. The greater the injustice within the realm of the gods, the more terrifying Mangog becomes. He once declared that even 1,000 gods of thunder could not stop him. When Mangog speaks, space vibrates, as if the universe itself must listen. He destroyed the Destroyer without difficulty. Artifacts and doomsday weapons, such as the Casket of Ancient Winter, the Phoenix Forge, or stellar bombs powerful enough to tear apart stars, have all failed to halt his advance. Even so, Mangog is not entirely unbeatable. In a fierce confrontation, he endured an attack from Odin, but was ultimately defeated and temporarily destroyed by the All-Father, yet even death cannot erase the curse of hatred carved into his very nature. Each collapse is merely a pause before the storm returns with greater violence. And when Mangog comes back, the sky of Asgard darkens once more, as if fate itself trembles before the footsteps of that embodiment of wrath. I truly hope you will subscribe to the channel. It will help us very much, and you are the most wonderful person. Thank you very much. Now let us talk about Superman. Superman, known on Earth as Clark Kent and born on Krypton with the name Kal-El, is one of the last sons of a fallen planet. When Krypton stood on the brink of destruction, the boy was sent to Earth as a final ray of hope. Here, among the peaceful fields of Kansas, he grew up in love and learned to use his power to protect rather than to rule. From the ability to soar among the clouds, strength capable of lifting entire cities, to heat vision and countless abilities beyond human understanding, Superman became a symbol of hope. He not only saves people from disasters, but also inspires compassion and responsibility. As a founding member of the Justice League, he stands alongside the greatest heroes. In another aspect, he is also the father of John Kent, the next generation of Superman, proving that the greatest legacy is not merely power, but ideals. By nature, Superman's abilities reflect the inherent potential of a Kryptonian when absorbing energy from various sources, especially yellow sunlight. When Batman once temporarily possessed that power, he remarked that Superman's might seemed to have no limits. Superman's body is structured to continuously absorb and convert energy, making the ceiling of his strength nearly impossible to determine. Even in purely physical trials, such as when he supported the mass of the Earth for 5 consecutive days, his will never wavered. The greatness of Superman does not lie only in lifting mountains or bending steel. It is in the steady gaze with which he looks down upon the fragile world at his feet, in the determination to protect every small life within the vast universe. When mentioning the feat of Superman supporting the mass of the Earth for 5 days, many people see only the surface of the achievement and overlook a crucial detail. Superman did not become exhausted during the process. He revealed only a single drop of sweat and even implied that the challenge was comparable to a light exercise. This demonstrates that the level of force he used was merely the tip of the iceberg. According to the logic of Kryptonian physiology, his output remains unchanged during the initial minutes. That means within a very short period, Superman could withstand a force equivalent to thousands of times this planet's mass without collapsing. That single drop of sweat was not a sign of weakness, but rather a natural bodily response to exertion, not a reflection of his true limit. At the time of performing that feat, he was isolated from direct solar radiation. In other words, he relied solely on stored energy accumulated beforehand. If even his reserves were sufficient to maintain such immense strength, then when fully exposed to sunlight, his potential would reach a threshold difficult to measure. This is proof of his nature, an entity carrying nearly limitless energy yet choosing to control and use it for noble purposes. There was even a time when he pushed and moved Krypton itself, his home planet, whose size and mass far exceed those of Earth. Notably, he accomplished this while under the influence of a red sun, radiation that nearly depleted the Kryptonian energy within his body. In other words, that was only a faint shadow of his most optimal state. If in a state of near total depletion he still possessed enough strength to affect a massive planet, then when supplied with optimal energy from a yellow sun, the threshold of his power must be thousands, even tens of thousands of times greater than the mass of the Earth. An even more astonishing achievement was when Superman tore away a portion of the Source Wall, the cosmic barrier sustained by the power of the Source. Darkseid himself admitted that such an act required an unimaginable level of force. When an entity like Darkseid is compelled to acknowledge that, it demonstrates that separating fragments of the Source Wall was not merely a physical feat, but something approaching the boundary of infinity. Space itself seemed to hold its breath. Before him stood a wall that had existed since the dawn of creation, where countless powerful beings were eternally sealed. Yet Superman's hands tightened, his muscles straining under the pressure of the universe. When a fragment broke free, the sound was not only that of matter fracturing, but a declaration that his will and strength could reach limits even the gods regarded with caution. Superman stands on a level that compels even cosmic-tier adversaries to be wary. Opponents capable of surviving universe-scale explosions are still overwhelmed by his fists. The force of impact from a single punch does not merely defeat an enemy, but sends shockwaves through the surrounding structure of reality. Therefore, his ability to bring down Darkseid is not difficult to believe. He can engage Darkseid in the same instant while still rescuing other lives, leaving even the tyrant of Apocalypse momentarily unsettled. Even when infected by the anti-life equation and enduring the erosion of his life force second by second, Clark delivered a single decisive punch to defeat Barbatos while the latter was restrained, the very being who had killed World Forger. In his battle with Rogal Zar within the Phantom Zone, each collision between them caused that entire dimension to shudder. When empowered by the white sun generated through the genesis of Warworld, Superman's strength surged even further, allowing him to confront two new gods simultaneously without retreat. Superman also possesses heat vision that he can activate at will. With a single glance, intense thermal beams pierce straight into a target, with power and range adjusted to precise degrees. Beneath the crimson sky of the battlefield, his cape billows like a banner in the storm. Reality trembles, godlike enemies roar in fury. Yet Superman remains standing, eyes blazing, calm as though all the chaos were merely small waves before the vast ocean of his will. Superman is immune to the properties of space and is not hindered by its weak gravitational forces. He can travel to distant regions of the universe where the human body could not survive without technological or protective support. Superman can generate winds as powerful as a storm by exhaling from his lungs. He can chill the air as it leaves his lungs to freeze his target. Time and again, Superman has proven his ability to inspire trust and motivate others through his charisma, passion, and ideals. In a purely physical confrontation, the battle between Superman and Mangog would be defined by the nature of Mangog himself, who is not a being easily subdued by ordinary muscle or endurance. And with Superman, this has been demonstrated through his brutal clashes with Eradicator, an entity capable of absorbing the essence of others to restore Krypton. Opponents of that caliber do not collapse simply from impact force. They require a different method, a different source of energy, or a strategy refined enough to neutralize them. If considered strictly in hand-to-hand combat, the outcome would most likely be a stalemate. Superman can deliver punches powerful enough to shake planets, but there is no clear basis to conclude that Mangog would fall to raw physical strength alone. Mangog's history shows that he is typically defeated through means that go beyond direct violence. Superman's power originates from the sun and the stars. Depending on the type of star, that energy can be amplified at an extraordinary rate, approaching near limitless physical potential. Mangog, by contrast, grows stronger from the hatred of others. He is the embodiment of collective fury, resentment accumulated over time. But Superman is not suitable fuel for such power. He fights for truth and justice with unwavering moral conviction. Within him, there is no hatred for Mangog to exploit. Imagine the moment when these two symbols stand face to face in the blazing radiance of a burning star. Mangog radiates pressure like a dense black storm of hatred, each step shaking reality itself. Opposing him stands Superman, eyes shining with faith, his red cape flowing in the cosmic wind. He does not advance through anger, but through resolve to protect not the roar of hatred, but the steady heartbeat of a soul that believes in what is right. Mangog was created as the embodiment of hatred from countless beings slain by Asgard and Odin in their pursuit of power. He holds no personal vendetta against Superman and therefore cannot ignite his hatred against him. Superman is a symbol of hope that cannot be extinguished. When physical strength reaches its highest limit, what determines the outcome is not merely the force of a punch, but the spiritual energy behind it. In that respect, Superman is not just a warrior from Krypton. He is the embodiment of hope, a light that hatred cannot consume. At his peak condition, Superman could defeat Mangog with relative ease, as he has overcome beings far more powerful than Mangog. Superman wins. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Follow me if you like. That is today's video. Thank you very much.